Hello, everybody. This is Scott Bunce, and today I'm really excited because I've got a Vistage speaker, and we are connecting to him in London, where he spends a good part of his time, as well as coming back to the United States. What I'd like to accomplish over the next 15, 17 minutes or so is for you, as the viewers, to be able to learn about the cross section between sales and AI. And that's exactly what Frank Furness has done for us. He has brought this to one of my Vistage groups, gave some brilliant ideas on how to use AI to be more effective in sales. And that's what I'd like to accomplish for you today in watching our video. But Frank, thank you very much for joining us.
Hey Scott, it's great to be here. I had a great time with your group. We were absolutely fantastic, and I'd encourage anyone watching this to contact you if they want to really up their game in business.
I love it. Thank you, Frank. All right. So, Frank, just give us a brief outline of what you do, and then we'll go into what you talked about at my Vistage meeting and some techniques around sales and AI.
Yeah, so basically, I'm a speaker on sales, and now a huge part of sales is AI and LinkedIn, and that's where I speak about how they fit in, what they're doing, also how the old sales process has changed. Because, in the old days, the salesman was in charge of the wholesale. Now the buyer is in charge. They go, they will check out things, they'll go and look for clients, they will do their prospecting on SEO. And the big changes since I've seen you is SEO is moving to AEO and GEO now. So how much content are you putting out there? Because a lot of the people, myself included, I'll go to ChatGPT and do my searches there. Say, if I'm looking for this kind of product or service, who do you suggest? Instead of going to Google, which just gives me a page of paid ads. So the world of sales is changing, and that's what I do. Either I do a little bit of one-to-one consulting, speaking at big conferences, and of course, I've been speaking for 20 years for Vistage and Tech.
Well, I must say we are lucky to have you, but why don't we start with right exactly what you mentioned? The whole search terms, the algorithms are changing. It isn't just AI anymore. Why don't you spend a minute and talk about what are some of the updates and maybe how you apply them?
So I think the biggest thing since I've seen the group is with SEO, and that's now moved to AEO, which is answer engine optimization, and GEO. So it's basically putting out content, because now in the old days, somebody might put in there searching for a sales speaker that focuses on AI. Now they're going to go in and say, we're looking for a sales speaker that is based near Orlando that focuses on how to drive sales using AI and LinkedIn. And that's going to be the biggest search. AI will go out and find, if I've got great content, if I've got videos on that, if I've got articles on that, blogs on that kind of thing. That's what it's looking for now, and that's what's going to be putting me up there. And for every other business, that's what they've got to be thinking about, is not just the website. In the old days, someone would go to a website. No, now they want to find someone that is an authority, that knows what they're talking about. So that's one huge move over there. The other big thing has been on LinkedIn. In fact, today, the latest algorithm report has come out, over 200 pages, and huge changes on LinkedIn. I think many of the people watching this will be thinking, I used to get 5,000 views. Now I'm getting 500. So there's some massive changes taking place there, where video is taking a big dip now. Just good posts, and I'm going to be speaking about this once I've gone through the algorithm, but it loves carousels. I don't know if you remember when I spoke to your group, we spoke about using Gamma.app to do a PowerPoint presentation, adding and ideally 10 pages long, adding in a call to action as the last page, saving that as a PDF and putting that up there. So in the latest algorithm, LinkedIn is loving that. They're also loving polls. And as I say, video dropped a little bit over there. And of course, comments still huge.
Nice. So let's talk about, because when you were speaking, I wrote down multiple tips on how to improve my LinkedIn profile. What are some of the top tips that you are sharing in your speeches around how to optimize your profile to be seen and make the most of it? You mentioned carousels. What are some of the tricks of the trade these days?
Well, one of the things, if you just go onto the first page of your LinkedIn, and this is where you've got that intersection of LinkedIn and AI, on the front there, there's a little thing where you can download a PDF of your whole LinkedIn, save that, and then you go over to ChatGPT or Gemini, drop it in there, and say, I'm a furniture manufacturer based in Atlanta, put in all of the details. I'm sales or I'm CEO. This is my LinkedIn profile. Analyze it, tell me what I'm doing well and what I must improve. And it'll do all of that for you. It'll tell you exactly what improvements you got to do. The same thing, you can drop your posts in there and say, analyze my posts. What am I doing wrong? What should I be doing better? And it'll do it for you. And that's where you've got that whole combination. Even on insights, you go to insights and you can take that, drop that into ChatGPT and say, tell me about my insights, who's looking at me, how should I connect with them better, who's my target audience. And now AI is doing the job before we would guess. Now we've got scientific kind of proof showing us what we should be doing.
Yeah, for me, I did that exact thing after you gave us the insight on that. And I changed my profile in multiple ways. I changed the headline, I changed the body. And the other thing that I did with AI was I went in and looked for search terms related to me. So I could do better hashtags when I do posts. And I credit you with all of that.
Yeah, I tell you, LinkedIn is still an amazing engine. And hopefully, the next time I come and speak to some of your groups, we'll have all of the updates on what's happened with LinkedIn because it's changing constantly. And just from I had a quick scan this morning, instead of one algorithm, there's basically four algorithms going on at the same time now in LinkedIn looking for different things.
And what would be the differences between the algorithms? And what should we be doing about that?
Well, I don't know if you noticed before there was a big change where it became very Facebooky and a lot of personal stuff. That's almost changed now. It's looking for good how-to content. It loves white papers and that. So basically giving away good information. Like I said to the group there, tell people exactly what to do. The how to do it is what they're going to be paying you for. So, and stick to one or two lines. Don't be all over the place because sometimes, and I'm guilty of that, I could be speaking about how to be a better speaker, and then I'm speaking about AI, and then linked. So now I've got to focus and say just sales, and this is part of sales, and that's got to be my main course. So those are some of the changes that I've just scanned briefly this morning.
Oh, I love it. You are on the cutting edge, my friend. Talk to me about challenges with sales teams. How can they better exploit technology and make improvements?
It's quite interesting. I'm working with a very big financial services company, and they're sponsoring me to go all over the US and speak to people. And I did a big conference to them. I'm doing one with Morgan Stanley next week. And the most interesting thing came back said, we got a lot of people that are like, that look like Frank. I think what they were saying, an old fella, and he makes it look so easy. And this was the biggest thing they had that you don't have to be a young cutting edge person. It doesn't matter how old you are. You've got to get into the game. And for any business, I would say you've got to get into the game. You've got to get into it quickly. You've got to be educating your people. The lack of education is going to cause a lot of problems. They could be causing damage to your company, putting things out there that they're not supposed to. So, training has got to be number one.
Mm.
Number two, form an AI committee within your business. You're going to have two or three people that are really geeky that know these things. And if you're the CEO or sales manager or whatever, have them report to you and say to them, listen, this is what I want to do. Our target audience is going to be airlines in the USA or whatever. Go and find all of these people, and they will go and they will do that. And then also impart it to the rest of the sales team and show them how easy it is to do things. I think the biggest thing is fear with a lot of people, um, or they keep it too basic. They don't realize the absolute capabilities of AI. And also, there's not one fits all kind of thing. So for me, ChatGPT does a lot of the tasks I need, but it's also limited. Also, I don't know if you know, last week 5.5 came out. So this is the next level up again with ChatGPT. For any visuals you want to do, Gemini is absolutely fantastic, but I'm hearing that 5.5 is going to give it a run for its money. Been playing around with that this morning. Perplexity is amazing for finding out what are people actually searching for on Google. And then, of course, the best one for writing, and I'm hearing this from everyone I speak to, is Claude, because Claude goes in and writes like a real person. Or I would tell it to go to my article site, my website. And as you know, I've got a warped sense of humor. That's the way I write. And it'll write that way. If I put it into ChatGPT or anything else, it writes like a machine. You can see it straight away. So it's finding the right tool for the right application.
Well, these are all great tips, and I think all of these different apps are evolving at lightning pace. So it's always good to know at any given time what's the best application for what you're trying to achieve. But let's switch gears, Frank. What do you see are the biggest mistakes sales teams or salespeople are making right now online?
I think the biggest mistakes is using old methods. You know, they'll still be doing the old cold calling and they'll go onto LinkedIn and they'll try and pitch and sell, which just doesn't work anymore. Um,
Mhm.
I think it's the lack of education rather than anything else. It's not their fault. They just don't know what else is out there and the capabilities. I've gone into ChatGPT and I've said, like, I want to work with Vistage groups. I only want to be on the East Coast of the USA. I want people that are interested in AI. So I put in a huge prompt over there. And now every Monday, I have 3 qualified leads in my box given to me. So it's teaching him how they can use these things, also how to create agents. So it's really education beyond the basics. And the biggest mistakes companies are making is not training their people.
Right. Well, let me put you on the spot for kind of a curveball question. What's the funniest thing you've run up against when you're doing consulting with sales teams uh, and AI? Have you run into a scenario where somebody's totally misusing it, or is there an anecdote you'd like to share?
I mean, it's crazy. I did one group and there was a young guy there of about 23, 24, and he was totally anti-AI. Everything I said, he stood up and he said, AI is not going to be there. And it was just hard work. You can't convince, I don't know, you can't convince stupid. You know, probably so. I didn't even try to argue with him. Um, but I think a lot of the mistakes people are making are putting out personal information out there, not realizing. Another big mistake I'm finding, and funny things are, people don't even realize that you can actually close off ChatGPT or personalize it to see things like you. So, yeah, I think the biggest thing is people are just they scratching the surface.
Yes. Yeah. Well, very good. All right. Well, for the people that have been watching here, I hope that you've got first off a good contact in Frank if you ever want to touch base with somebody who's on the cutting edge. Secondly, you've learned a little bit about which different applications apply best for what you're trying to do, as well as some tips on how to use AI to improve your profile. And if you got that out of today, I think that that's a win. But let me end with this. Frank, if people want to learn about you and get you as a speaker or tap into your businesses, how do they do that?
Easiest way is just drop me an email, which is frank@frankfurness.com, Frank at Frank, Furness.com. My UK phone number is +44 7711 672 888, and my US is 407 558 9714.
And again, this is Scott Bunce focusing on Vistage, peer-to-peer advisory groups, executive coaching based in Atlanta. Thank you so much for participating today, Frank, and we appreciate your wisdom.
Thanks so much, Scott. Great seeing you again, and thanks for inviting me on the show.